This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of The Curse of Oak Island, and I have a question for you. Could it be that you are listening to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream?
This is a top pocket find, mate, for sure.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel and good evening to you all, and thank you so much for being here tonight. Jeff Freeman here. I am the host of this and creator of this channel, and as you saw in the intro there, obviously I like to talk about a lot of different things. One of those kind of got our feet wet talking about the Curse of Oak Island TV show, and of course Skinwalker Ranch, the secret of Skinwalker Ranch, which I think is a fantastic television program. I love talking about it. I love the things that they're doing out there. I have a lot of other interests that go on to the paranormal, to UFOs, UAPs. I've had my own experiences in both. I love to talk about all those types of things. And as we go along, our Facebook page is called The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond. And the Beyond is those things that are everything other than the Curse of Oak Island. And that's where we're headed tonight. Really excited about this. Something that is really, I found to be very interesting. And being an insider at the skinwalker-ranch.com has been a great experience for me. And as I was out there and talking with some of the folks, the other insiders, it dawned on me, I decided, it would be a great idea, I think, that if I was to see if there would be somebody that I could bring one of the other insiders that would love to come on the show and talk about it. And lo and behold, everybody voted. Everybody voted for a couple of different people, but one in particular. And I have to say, I am very, very pleased to say that this lady right here, and let's bring her on right now. Uh, Shannon DeSalvo has graciously said she would come on. She was voted in by everybody, and I thank you so very, very much for coming on the show tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. I tell you what, I've been excited about this ever since I brought this up in the insider chat, and we'll talk about that as we go along here a little bit more in depth. But that, when I brought it up, you weren't there at the time, and I was talking about it. It was right after one night. I don't know. It was one after one of the shows I had done, and everybody said, "Oh, Shannon's got to be on your show." Shannon. Everybody was. You've made quite an impression on these folks.
It was in the 5 minutes that I had stepped away to go take a shower, actually. And I came back and they were like, "Oh, by the way, we've all nominated you to go on this podcast." And I was like, I can literally not leave without something happening. So, but I'm happy that they did. Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. I can see everyone saying hello.
Yeah. And a lot of them are here tonight, and I got to thank you. I'm going to go ahead and say hi to a few people. Generally, when I have a guest on, I don't do that too much, but I tell you, because of the fact that we have a lot of new people watching here tonight that are insiders. Wow, I'm still scrolling back, trying to get back to the beginning. There's so many people here. Jeff's in the house, and Ray, of course, and Amy and Jan, and a lot of our regulars. Let's see. Linda, of course, is out there. Linda, we're happy to have back. Linda had a procedure done and she's back home now resting, but yet there she is, always here working and stuff. She's a admin of our group pages, and she is just like my big sister, always helping me out. So appreciate her very much. And Jan and Tom. Let's see. Who do we got? Steve B there. Debbie G. B. Jones. I talk to B. Jones all the time. Let's see.
Everybody.
Yeah, we got, Mary's here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, quite a few. Wade. Hey, Wade, I got a chance to talk to Wade the other day. Met him, little FaceTime going on. Skinwalker Ranch is here too. Hi, everybody. There's Skinwalker Ranch popped on. That is the folks that are running everything over there. And thank you guys for coming by here tonight. Really, really happy to have you on tonight, Shannon. I tell you, and I know that, some things that are happening out there, we have to be careful about some of the things we talk about. But honestly, like I was saying earlier, being an insider, and I didn't hesitate. I mean, I was talking with Linda, and Linda, she threw this at me, and she said, "You've got to get out there and do this right away." and get on this. And I'm like, oh, what was it? And I looked into it and I go, oh my gosh, I want to be a member of this. It has been the greatest experience I of a membership with any channel or any website that I've had yet. This has been awesome. When do you know? I mean, it's been going on what, a couple months now, right? That it started.
Um, so from my understanding, I think it was the very beginning of May. Somebody might correct me on that. I started mid-May,
Okay.
and I was part of I think the beginning group, because like when I was getting on, there was like maybe 7 people in the morning. Now we've got 80 people that are actively watching, even though our group number's a lot higher than that. So I want to say the beginning of May. I think that's probably right. Maybe end of April. Not
And you
sure.
got involved in like the middle of May, and now you're like one of the main people there. I mean, you're like running all this stuff. It seems like, but you do a fantastic. How did you end up becoming a moderator? I guess you'd be a moderator of the channel and stuff like that. How did all that come about?
That is a great question. I'm not really sure. I think what happened was, I'm guessing the spreadsheet, because this baby spreadsheet started and then it grew really rapidly. And I think because of me starting the spreadsheet, it kind of put me in the center of having people needing to contact me.
Ah,
Um,
yep.
and then I think maybe that's how it happened. And now the spreadsheet's a monster. And I
Yeah,
don't know. I feel really lucky that I get
yeah.
to talk, I get to talk to everybody.
Yeah, and that's what is really cool too. Folks, I tell you, for those of you who have not been out there yet, it's at skinwalker-ranch.com. And that's what we're discussing here tonight is, well, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but that is definitely one of the main things we wanted to talk about here tonight. Because of the fact that it is, oh, there's Mike Owen. Hey, Mike. Um, and Begin Watch is here. Oh my goodness. Hey, yeah, a lot of the folks, a lot of the
Everybody.
insiders are coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has become a community, and that is the neatest thing, I think, for me, is to be able to go out there and I know it's sometimes they call it a lurker. If you're just watching and not saying anything, there's this term, it's been going around on Twitch for years about a lurker. I do that sometimes because quite honestly, a lot of times, I'll be I'll be at work and I'll bring it up on one of the screens and I'll be watching, but I can't completely pay my full attention to it. So I watch when I can, and then I'm back to work and doing stuff. And if I have a minute, I'll watch and I'll say something. But a lot of times I don't, just simply because I'm not there to answer if anybody says hi or something. But it has become such a tight knit community of just great people. And you obviously
Yeah.
know them all, right? So,
Yeah, I know all of them. No, it feels like it sometimes, but it really is. And what's so neat is that we're getting new people every single day. And every day I'm seeing new people come in. We're all seeing new people come in. And I love that I get to continue seeing our same group become so welcoming to new
yep.
people. They're like, welcome, we're so happy to have you. And they genuinely mean it. I mean, everybody that I've had the pleasure of talking to, obviously online, um, like they're just such lovely individuals. And so it makes it a nice environment, I think, to be able to feel comfortable and welcomed. And there's um there's something to be said about that, I think, especially when you're talking about a bunch of strangers on the internet. That I mean, it's been really lovely. And I think it's because we all just are so excited. Like,
Yes.
we all get to watch the Skinwalker Ranch cams together. That's
You know,
crazy. That's so cool.
it
So,
truly is,
it's
and
really,
I
really
and I
neat.
and I love that part of it. And as there are other parts of it too that that's not the only thing as being an insider that you get to do. There's so many other portions of it.
Oh,
One
yeah.
thing I wanted to mention too, real quick, and you had kind of mentioned in the pre-show about this, was that they do have a like a gift shop or a shop tab that you
A
can
merch
go there.
shop.
Yeah, for the merch. And you had told me something that I didn't know about the merch and what the money. Go ahead, talk about that for just a moment.
So I don't think a lot of people know this, but I was told that 100% of the merchandise sales goes to preserving the homesteads. I don't know if it's specifically Homestead 2 or if it's all the homesteads.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, that's incredible to know that, like, oh, I get a t-shirt and I get to like contribute that money to preserving something that I view as some being very important. I feel like if somebody was like, "Will you donate money to help preserve the homesteads?" I'm sure. Here's my money. But they've got all of this really cool merchandise now, and knowing that it also goes to the preservation of the homesteads is really neat.
Yeah, it truly is, and
So,
I love that too, and that was the thing, I logged in tonight just before the show, I logged in for a minute, and I noticed that the Homestead 2 cam is back up, or
mhm,
was anyway, for a little while, and,
yeah.
somebody went in and cleaned it all up, and I was like, "Wow, somebody swept the floor," but, that it's, and of course, a couple people chuckled about that, but I had just seen it for the first time. What was talking about the membership again and the other insiders, which I've heard somebody referred to it as the collective, and I went, "Whoa, whoa, wait a minute, the Borg are not coming around here, are they?" I don't know where that got
It's very
started.
ominous.
Yeah.
I don't either. Actually, I think I no, I do know where it came from. It was Eric. Eric gave us that name,
Oh, did he really?
because, yeah, and that's another really great thing about being an insider is that you can just be sitting watching the cameras and you never know, like, who is going to show up in the chat. Like, Eric very frequently will pop in there. We've had Caleb, Thomas, and Travis. So it's really neat. But yeah, I it was definitely Eric that called us the collective, and then we just kind
Collective.
of embraced it and ran with it. Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Oh, look at B. Jones is saying to flash your T-shirt. Oh, there you go. Yep. Love
I
it.
have the hoodie
I
behind me as well.
Alright, yeah, cool. And I see you got an "I believe" sign back there, a picture back behind you.
Oh yes.
Absolutely, that's cool.
My nice little wooden sign. And
Mhm.
all my great books on all sorts of things having to do with this stuff.
Yeah,
So
I do. That's one of the things that I do. I love the paranormal. I love anything having to do with UFOs, UAPs. I do believe in them. And as a Christian, people say, "Oh, well, you can't believe in that," and why? Yeah, absolutely, I can believe in that. It doesn't say anything in the Bible about God not creating life on other planets. So, I do believe in it. I've had experiences myself. I won't get into those tonight. I've talked about them on my show. I have another playlist. John Edwards and I do a show called Beyond Our World, and in that particular show, we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff um, relating to the paranormal or UFO, UAPs, and things of that nature. He's had experiences I have in both of those realms. And so I'm totally a believer, which draws me into this show so very much.
right.
And being an insider, I noticed that some of the other things is that they have Q&As. Talk about that a little bit, how the guys will actually show up and do a Q&A and things with us.
So it's really neat. They have done a few that have been like, for example, Caleb will pop in and be like, "Oh, do you guys have any questions?" And then he'll record something and put it out. But we've also had live ones. But most recently, we got the gift of, I think we called it chips and salsa,
Yeah.
because Caleb had mentioned that comes from the fact that Caleb had previously mentioned to us that whenever he's an emotional eater, and so he eats chips and salsa. Well, turns out that's true, and they all enjoy chips and salsa. And so yeah, I think it was last Wednesday night. Um, they were all kind of hanging out in that room that you see on the in the episodes,
Yeah.
and they were eating, and they had the camera on them in one of the boxes that we normally get, and were reading and interacting with us completely. And they're also doing, Caleb and Travis are doing the Murph challenge, which was for Lieutenant Murphy
Oh,
to raise
yes.
money.
Yep.
I believe it's to raise money, and I know that they do it every single year. And so this Saturday, I think at 2, I don't want to be wrong with that. I think it's 2. They are doing a Q&A during that as well. So
Yep.
I mean, they try to do Q&As as much as possible.
That's
It's
something
really
that's
neat.
so yeah, it is. It's something so cool about it because, like I said, I talk about some other TV shows as well and had guests on from those shows, and they're allowed to talk. Everybody's under an NDA. We know that non-disclosure agreement, that they can't talk about what has not been aired. For Curse of Oak Island, for instance, we've had guys come on. I've had several of them on, and they've been able to talk about anything that has been aired. But they are very, you know, when the cameras are there, like right now they're filming season 10. And so they shut everything down. I mean, it's really shut down. Here the guys are out at Skinwalker Ranch and they're being so transparent. I mean,
I
talk
know.
about that a little bit. This is so cool that they even offer this kind of thing.
I know. So one of the questions that I think I get, or we all kind of get most often for newcomers is, oh, are they going to turn the cameras off when they're filming? And the answer that I've gotten to that, we've all gotten to that repeatedly, is no. What they'll do is they'll just shift the camera view to a place they're not filming. The
Right.
outages that they've had kind of in and out this week, I know last night that there were two tower fires that affected the whole Uinta Basin,
Oh wow.
so their power was out. For anybody that's joining new in the last 24, 48 hours, like, I think that's important to note that normally we aren't seeing these kind of outages because they do keep them running. And then to touch on the transparency aspect of it, Travis asked us in the chips and salsa Q&A. He wanted to know how transparent we thought they were being. And for me personally, and I think a lot of people, I think for the most part, agree with this, is that considering what they can and cannot say for History Channel, for their show,
Mhm.
um, they're doing like 100% transparency that they possibly can. Like, they're
Right.
going to the top of what they're allowed to do. They're giving us access to literal live feed of what they're doing, and they're
Mm.
talking to us and they're answering questions, and they're um I mean, I legitimately can't think of another like group or membership or like scientific research that's kind of in a public eye, like, that does something like this. So it's really incredible.
It truly is, and that chips and salsa now and what's cool about it and again, for those folks who are not members, yet or, they when they do these Q&As, it's live, but then it stays up there as a recording, just like my show is live right now, but it stays on YouTube as a recording, so you can go
Hmm.
back and watch it later, and there's a lot of
Hmm.
content in that area. You can go and watch all kinds of different things and recordings and different things that they've had on there. You can go check it all out.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I went back because I wasn't able to watch it live, but I was able to go back and watch it later. And watching it, and again, this is one of those things that, when you watch the TV show, you see how everyone is on TV, and then you see how they might be behind the camera or off camera, and most everybody is pretty close to the same. But it's funny to see them all sitting around a table. They're all like in that table that we see in the like I'm gonna call it the conference room or the command center. And they're all sitting on one side or on the edges facing the camera. And there they got chips and salsa, and the table's a mess. It's got drinks and everything on it. But you get to see them interacting with each other in a way that's not on camera. And you get to see a different side of them, which is so
Oh,
cool.
oh yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I think about often whenever I see anybody making comments about kind of the show and like, oh, is this real or is it not real? And I think because it's a show, there, we're talking about having to take scientists. Travis has got definitely a television personality, but you're taking these scientists and these people that weren't doing TV really beforehand and
Yep.
having them get on camera and stuff. And it's really lovely to see them be themselves. I think Bryant Dragon, but Bryant is hilarious, which is funny because he gets such a reputation for being so serious. Like, he's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
serious all the time on their show. He's hilarious. He's so, so funny. And I mean, they all are. I think he was just the most surprisingly funny one because we're
Yeah.
expecting him to be serious.
Yeah,
So
and he is. He's always,
yeah,
and his expressions are very, profound.
very
When he doesn't
so
like something, you can
yeah,
tell right away. Like when
yeah.
he first
But
started
he's very
talking about
funny.
digging. Yeah, when he first started talking about digging or something, and you could just see the camera always went to him because he was like,
I
"Mm-mm,
know.
we're not doing that," and he had good
But I mean,
reason.
in all fairness,
Yeah,
exactly. In all fairness, I mean, all he's doing is trying to protect the people that he's
exactly,
got.
exactly.
Like that's his team. It's easy for us to say it because we're not there, but like that's his job. So, but yeah, they do love to zoom in on him as soon as anybody says dig. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, he does get that, and then you can see that facial expression every time, but, and
Mhm.
like you said, in watching the Q&A and, the guys talking, you get a sense of them. They're down to earth, they're really down to earth
Oh
guys,
yeah,
they're doing a job, and they do their job professionally, but yet they can still have a good time at the same time, but they are very serious about what they are trying to accomplish and what they're trying to discover,
absolutely.
so, yeah, I love
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
now, since, okay, so the site has been going on for, 2.5 months or thereabouts. What kind of changes have you seen over that course of time? Is it, obviously it has grown quite
Yeah.
rapidly. But I mean, what kind of changes from when it first started to now have you seen?
Um, from when it first started to now, I mean, we're seeing videos being updated kind of in real time. So we're getting these new Q&As, which is basically new information, right?
Yep.
Because these
Yep.
questions that they're answering are things that people aren't getting answered on the show. These are things that people feel like they wish that they would have addressed on the show and didn't. And so this is new information,
Yep.
which is awesome. And so we have a few of those at this point. And then the spreadsheet got put on the website,
Yeah,
and
yeah, tell us a little bit about that spreadsheet because when I first started, and I started sitting in, and again, I wasn't saying a whole lot other than hi to people, but I noticed right away everybody started talking about logging that. Oh, you gotta log that, if you saw something. And that's the neat thing, folks, that I want to talk about on this also is the fact that this spreadsheet was set up. Well, I'll let Shannon talk about that really a lot more in depth, but it people were talking about that, and I'm like, "Log what? Log where?" And again, the beauty of the folks that are there, I thought, "Oh, it's gonna be a dumb question because I don't know anything about this." No,
no,
absolutely not. I asked the question, there was 15 people helping me out to tell me all about the
yeah,
spreadsheet, how it works, and where to find it.
I would be shocked if anybody made somebody feel like they had a dumb question because I think
Yep,
we've all been there. Everybody's so helpful.
yep,
It's just that's exactly what you want in a group of people that are trying to figure out, what's going on or trying to help really. But so the spreadsheet started as this like little baby. When we first started, it was, we were seeing things and we didn't have a place because of wanting to make sure that we protected the privacy of the ranch and respect kind of our memberships of being part of this group. So we couldn't go like post it online, right?
right,
We
right,
needed something that was private in that sense where we could all what I wanted was to just have a place that was collaborative, that people felt like they could be putting their information that they were seeing, that other people could see it. And so it started with just like this little thing where we were logging things that we were seeing because we were seeing things, and now it's this giant thing where it's like we've got a place for possible anomalies that we're seeing that people are logging, and it's done by month. July is almost over, and it's a long list. Oh, another thing that they have added to the website is the they've taken kind of the best of clips from our spreadsheet for June, and now I know that the
nice,
July uh,
that's great.
mix is going to be coming out.
Mhm,
But so the spreadsheet also has like, oh, here's a list of the camera views with images, and here is a list of not what I really want to see grow is the list of like known non anomalies that we've learned to say like, oh, we know that this is a common
mhm,
camera glare that we get. So it's
right.
not a UFO because when you're first watching, you're like, that definitely looks like a
I
UFO.
did
And then
I did that, I'm guilty.
and you you feel so excited. You're like, I see one finally. And
Yeah,
then you're like, oh no, it's here again today, the next day at the
yeah,
exact same time on the same camera. Um, so we're trying to build that up so that new people coming and are able to access that. And then there's just sort of links to things that are Skinwalker Ranch related that people have come across. That there's a link to your podcast that you did the interview with Thomas and Eric on, and so it's just this enormous kind of thing where people are constantly adding to it.
right.
So
We had Kat asked a question of being relatively a newbie and not seeing Skinwalker Ranch except for YouTube excerpts. What exactly is the Homesteads? Old ranch houses from long ago that need preserving. Are they still in use? Um, we can talk
so
about that briefly. Yeah, go ahead.
from my understanding, the homesteads were built in like the early 1900s and they were used as homes. But if you are at all familiar with even if you're not watching the show with Skinwalker Ranch in general, you'll know that there's a lot of history in the homesteads as far as like sightings of things or voices, or the homesteads carry a lot of that paranormal weight
Mhm.
to it rather than like, oh, there's something in the sky. This is definitely the paranormal part of the ranch, is where the homesteads,
Yeah,
I think, get
yeah.
their
Yep, Homestead
reputation.
too. Yeah, that's the thing too, and I'm gonna show this real quick, and I know that we have to keep much of what's going on out there. It's a member site, folks. You have to sign up and be a member, and it is a paid membership, but I tell you what, I have found it to be well worth it. I've really
Oh my
enjoyed
gosh, right?
my time there, yeah, and I will
Yeah.
I'm gonna show this real quick, and please apologize. I am gonna apologize to the Skinwalker Ranch people. I know we're not allowed to share stuff, but I just wanna show this real quick. This is what you see as an insider. You get to watch live streams of these, and it changes. They don't always have these in the same place, but you get to watch
Right.
stuff. Some of the things on here, they're talking about the research at Skinwalker Ranch, the map, the team, strategic partners. I mean, there is so much packed into this website, quite honestly, and that live stream. I mean, it's and as we talked about the spreadsheet, you are sitting there, and you mentioned that one portion about the sun glare. There was one of the camera views. It was just the other day, and I checked it out, and it was one of the camera views. And as the sun was going down, it causes this little pink light to light up down in the
Hmm.
trees, and and
And
and it
exactly what
it starts to move as the sun's going down, and I did. I logged in, and there it was. All of a sudden, it popped in there, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm getting ready to say something, and somebody goes, "Oh, there's the glare again." And I went, "Oh, okay, it's the glare again." I didn't know where I thought, but
so
that's
what I would love, yeah, that's excitement of it,
it
right? Like to
is.
be able to see that stuff. What I'd love is to be able to have a list for people that do come in that are new, to be able to be like, oh, we know what to expect. We can expect all of these things. But yeah, the sun orb. I
Yep, the
also
sunburn.
see somebody, Karen P asked that I say how people can join.
Ah,
And is it okay if I go ahead and
oh,
do that?
absolutely.
I'm
Please,
sorry, I jumped ahead.
please, yeah.
Um, People can join by going to the website, which is skinwalker-ranch.com.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I do have it linked in the
And
description below, folks, too. So you can.
perfect.
Mhm,
And then you can have the option, either way, you get a week trial for free,
mhm.
which is great. And then you can either do, I think it's $10 a month or like 98 for the year, which to me, like I would have paid $100 to be able to talk to any of the guys in a whatever. And for a week, like it's a great deal, especially I think because just based on what they're doing with the merchandise sales, that this money is going to be going towards like equipment and research and stuff. So you really are like you're funding kind of the whole project there.
Mhm.
So
And
that's how
that's
you
what's
do it.
really cool, as I was saying before, is that they've got the spreadsheet Shannon has put together and made it pretty easy for everybody to use and to go back and look at. And it, like she said, it's become a monster because now it all has links to stuff to do and different things on it. It's really very informative. But the nice thing too is that when somebody sees something, you can go and log it and let other people go
Mhm.
back and find that timestamp and go see what that was. Oh, yep, we've seen that before. Oh my gosh, look at this. And believe me, folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I can't tell you what it was. I wanted to share this a couple weeks ago, but then I read the rules again. The rules are like, nope, can't do that. So I couldn't share it on my
Yeah.
show. But there have been there have been people who have found some very, very interesting things. I'm going to tell you that
Yeah.
now because it wasn't one of these things where, oh, we see a bug go by or whatever. I mean, you've seen the show, you've seen some of the things that were on the if you've seen the show, you've seen some of the things that the team has found on the show. There have been things like that that the insiders have found watching as well.
I
So
I feel like maybe I can say a little bit about
go ahead.
that because hopefully we can use it to entice people.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, we've definitely seen some things. It's shocking, actually. I will say one of the coolest things is that when they did the Q&A, not the chips and salsa one, but it was when it was Travis and Eric and Thomas and Bryant. Travis made a comment that the first video that the insiders kind of had up on the website, what we got a thumbs up from Skinwalker Ranch, we can say it, was that exactly what he was looking at with his UAP work. Like it was exactly what he would describe in his research and all the stuff that he's done as being a UAP. And that's an incredible like confirmation that what we're seeing is happening. But we've caught we've caught orbs, like legitimate orbs. And that takes
Yes.
time, I think, to get adjusted to the cameras to realize like, oh, that's just a bird that
Yep.
or like a bug at night. But like there's some things that are just like that's what they are. They're just orbs. And you're seeing it in real time. And it's so exciting to be with a
It
group of
is.
people that are just like waiting for something to happen. At
Yep.
night, it gets really busy where people are like calling out timestamps and things. But it happens during the day too. I mean, we see
Yes.
crazy things during the day, like things
Yep.
you're actually seeing things. So it's
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it is. It
Mm.
truly is. And that's what I was talking about because and we all want to be that person that spots something, right? I do, and I'm over here
Yeah.
watching it. And sometimes I really look closely. And then one night we're watching and I was like, "Oh, there's a what's that light?" And we see this light moving along, and we find out later, oh, it was Thomas. He was out doing the irrigation.
Yeah.
He was checking the irrigation. He had a flash.
That's fun too, though.
It is
It's
fun
fun when you
too
get to
because
see him out there, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, Thomas was out working. He was working the ranch. He was doing his irrigation duties like he does, and yet we see this light walking along, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's that? But it isn't always like that. But it's fun to see that too. But like I said, folks, some of the I haven't yet, but the insiders have found some very, very interesting things and have documented it.
Yes, and we've also heard things too. I think
Yes.
that's another thing. People are wanting to say that, but there's been humming, which we've heard, like, it sounds like a woman humming. We've heard, um, I want to. We hear a lot of different things, and I know that Caleb has told. Well, they've all told us that like it acts sort of as like like it picks up sounds from around the area because of where it is. But
Mhm.
some of these things are very local to like the camera, for example, like when we hear the humming and it's on the Homestead 2. Yeah, there you go. The humming and singing we hear is crazy. That's when we've got the camera audio set to Homestead 2, and that's inside of that homestead. And we get to hear among the humming and singing, we also get to hear raccoons,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Yep.
And but we've also seen raccoons, which is also fun. Like when you see a little raccoon going through the homestead unexpectedly, that's also fun. I mean,
Yep.
it really is. I'm not
Everybody names all the stuff too, like Lucy the Orb and stuff like that. It's kind of funny, but
Well, Eric gave her that name.
oh, was it
Eric is
Eric?
who named
Okay.
it Lucy. Yeah, that was not even us. He named it Lucy. But yeah,
And again, that's one of the cool things about it is that, the guys do interact a lot with with what's going on. I logged in the other day, and I just happened, and Eric was on there, and he was talking to people real quick. He was in the middle of, or he had a minute in between things he was doing, and he stopped to chat with everybody. That's the really cool thing about it, is that the guys are so open, as we mentioned before, and they come on and talk about this kind of stuff, and it's just really cool. I can't, so, and like you said before, very, very transparent about all that they're doing. Um, let's talk about, you and your, you know, experiences. Obviously you have a sign behind you that says I'm a believer. What types of things what makes you a believer? Let me ask you that. I know that might be a tough
What
question, but what makes you a believer? Have you seen things? Have you
That is a tough question. So I'm an interesting sort, I think, because I'm this interesting mix of being skeptical, but with this high desire of belief. And I've also seen things myself that I think what it is when you have a different feeling about it than when you see like a star in the sky or like one of the Starlink satellites. Like when it fundamentally is something different to you. Um, I personally, I'm in school right now and I'm studying. Um, it's funny because there's not like you can't like major in this in school, but it's basically the neurophysics of consciousness. So I'm
Oh,
very
wow.
much interested in how our brain and physics and basically how we interact with our environments, how that affects our consciousness or the origins of consciousness, and how that plays in as a factor of all of these paranormal experiences. That's actually what drew me to the ranch in the first place. Was
Yep.
the I was fascinated by the fact that different people had different experiences there, and they had physical biological responses to what was happening, and it was different for different people. Like, there's injuries for some people and not for others. um, and I did want to say this actually, but Travis and Eric do want to do an experiment with the insiders, and Travis referenced the Big Bell test, which it's really interesting. We have the link to the actual full scientific paper on the spreadsheet for anybody that's interested. But it plays into the consciousness and the observer kind of effect that perhaps what's happening at the ranch could be having. Because I think everybody kind of perceives things differently, and so I'm very interested
True.
in that. And that's
Yeah.
what makes me a believer, because I very much believe in consciousness continuing on outside of our bodies, and I think that it explains a lot of a lot of things, actually.
It
I
does.
don't know
And I
how
agree.
exactly that plays into the UAPs, but yeah, I think it all has to do with that.
I think it does in many ways, because and that's some of the topic type stuff that John and I have talked about on Beyond Our World. Is we've gone into some different types of discussions and topics on that very thing, or subjects that relate to that in a lot of ways. And I think that people are very susceptible to different sensations. Some people
Hmm.
are very susceptible to when there's a paranormal activity going on. Some people draw paranormal activity to them, I think. But and it's funny because you watch some of these TV shows, Ghost Adventures or one of them type of shows, which I watch, but you notice that after a
Yeah.
while, people seem to start to tune into their surroundings, and they can pick up and perceive things better. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's theatrics. They're just acting or whatever." I don't think so, because I've experienced it myself. When I'm in tune with my environment, I've been on, paranormal investigations before, and I've had times when nothing at all happened, and then I've had times where a lot of things happened. But I could tell. You mentioned this earlier. You have a different sense about it. All of a sudden, you feel like that there's things about to happen or things going on that you may not be able to see right away, and then all of a sudden you start to get recordings or whatever it may be, you're more in tune with what's happening, especially after you've done it for a while. Same thing with paranormal or with UFOs and UAPs. Some people seem to find a lot of them where other people don't.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So that's exactly what I want to find out. That's literally exactly what I'm interested in. Like, why is it that some people are receptors for
Mhm.
these things or more sensitive to them than others? But to touch on the fact that people say it's theatrics, I mean, to me, if you just look at the biology of the fact that we are animals and
Mhm.
we do have animalistic instincts that have helped us to survive as a species thus far. It doesn't seem like a stretch of the imagination to me to say that that extends to the things that we can't see. I mean, if somebody's staring at you from behind, you can feel their eyes on you. What is the explanation for that? Like
Exactly. That's how
that's
do
a
you know
that
that's
that could be an actual person that's standing in a crowded room and you can feel their eyes on you. There doesn't have to be like a hard fast. You can sense it, and I think that and that has to do with needing to be able to again survive as a species. So it
Mhm.
doesn't seem like a stretch of the imagination to me to say that like some people are more in tuned to this other, I mean, to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It,
that other
it
realm. I was
doesn't.
gonna say the other realm
Right.
because it almost is in a way. And have you ever had, like, the experience where, you have a friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and all of a sudden this friend is on your mind a lot. You just for whatever reason, this friend just keeps popping into your thoughts as you're going through your day. The next thing you know, they call you or text you out of the blue, and it's like
Right.
and they tell you, "Oh, I for some reason, I was thinking about you a lot the last couple of days." Now, you're 1,000 miles apart from each other. How did that happen? How did you both know that you were thinking about each other and make that connection all of a sudden? I mean, that's happened to me countless times where somebody will just call
I
me
think
out of
it's
the blue and
happened to a lot of people.
yeah. So you're right. There's things going on like that that our bodies are in tune with that. I think your field of study is fascinating. John and we're going to have you on Beyond Our World because I tell you what, that's a whole nother subject that I would love to dig into with you, that I find so fascinating, quite honestly.
It
Yeah,
is.
I see people popping in here. Yeah, so Richard said that he's interested in that field of study as well. And so many people have jumped in. Yeah, Begin Watch said we are biosensors, and we are. We absolutely
Absolutely. I mean, of course we are. I was just talking about that today, how like I was talking to a doctor about how I'm curious, and this is not Skinwalker Ranch related, but I'm curious as to research done on like levels of development. So like when you're developing age baby to 13, so say you're developing object permanence, depending on what time of year you're born, your object permanence lessons when you're developing your brain are going to be different if you're learning that your brain is forming those connections in spring versus fall. So, like, if you're developing object permanence when flowers are blooming versus when things are dying, it's going to affect how you operate in the world and what you may or may not expect or even be sensitive to because we
Mhm,
are in fact affected by our environment. It doesn't have to be astrology that you talk about in like the newspaper from way back when, but I
mhm.
certainly think that there's probable evidence to like the seasons that we're born in and how we develop through them, how it could affect us. I mean, again, we're animals, so yes,
Yep.
definitely biosensors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was another person here that everybody voted to come on my show,
Granny
and
Mac.
Granny
Yeah,
Mac
she
and Granny
should
was like, "Nope, I'm not doing it." I'm like, "Come on, you gotta come on." So we're gonna see what we can do, but,
next
you know
time.
And, she, had a couple of good comments that I was trying to find the other one. Linda reminded me, and I saw it go by. I was just trying to find it, but this one was a good one here too. But was talking about older folks. Okay, I got to find that here. But it is interested in the subject. That's the neat thing about the insider chat as well is that because of the fact that so many people are all interested in the same thing. There's times where on my show, I get a lot of people that absolutely love it. And then there's a lot of people that will be skeptical of it, and I'll get people going, "Oh, you're full of BS and blah blah blah, and it's not really happening or whatever." That's the nice thing about the insider chat. The insiders are people who have paid memberships. They're there for a reason. They're not there to heckle. They're not there to tear down what is going on. They're all like-minded believers and they want to know more.
Exactly. That's something that I've also seen is people coming in that are new who are like, I don't know if I should say this because I don't want you guys to think that I'm crazy. And it's like there is no crazy here. Like we're all here for the same reason, which is because we obviously believe in this stuff, and it's really neat. There is kind of a common thread among us in terms of like experiences or obviously belief in this stuff. And it's really neat to be able to have these conversations with people because I think, and I know because I've heard it from a couple of people in the chat, it's like some people don't have other people in their life to talk to about this stuff
Exactly.
because
Yes.
they get made to feel like they're weird or like what they're saying is not like I don't really know. So it's really really nice that people can come in and be like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I have a group of people that I can give all my theories to
Yep.
and we
Yep.
can talk about it." And yeah, I mean, I think John Edwards said, yeah, membership means no trolls.
Yep.
So it's, and also I want to say it was kind of a genius move on behalf of the ranch too, because if you're trying to find help to monitor these cameras, who better to have than people who are literally begging to see something, who are going to like, we're paying to be like, we'll watch your cameras for you. Let us
Yeah.
watch your cameras for you.
Yeah. Exactly. I'll
So
pay to do it.
really,
Yeah. And I did.
yeah,
I love it.
I'll pay you to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
let me do it.
Well, and that's the
So
thing is they have so much, they wanna be doing this 24/7. How else can you
mhm.
do it 24/7? Eric, God love him, he's there from the early mornings to the late at nights, and I
He
think half the
sleeps
time
there.
he sleeps there, he spends the night there, but
Yes.
he's always working, and that's something that Thomas was saying. Eric
Always.
is always working, but even that, he doesn't have
Always.
time to go through all of this himself. Now he's got
No,
I
I
mean,
know.
what's the membership at now? Any idea? I don't even know.
I don't I don't have any idea. I do have a sort of reflection based on the amount of like YouTube subscribers that are in there. And I think it was at 730 earlier today. But we're
Okay,
seeing that number go up like much faster now. So
right.
yesterday morning, I want to say it was at like 680 and now it's at 730 just based off of my memory. And I don't even know if that's an accurate reflection because some people might be members and they haven't subscribed to the channel yet.
Right.
Um, so,
And that's the thing
member
I was
support would know that best.
yeah. Yeah, they
If they're in
maybe
here.
they, yeah, they can jump on and tell us how many they're at now, but it's really and like I said, it's a great community. And I guess Linda was telling me that, they said I could go ahead and show. I didn't see that pop by, but she catches that stuff for me. She said I could go ahead and show parts of the website. Was that what you were saying, Linda, that I could show part of their website? They're okay with that? I wouldn't mind if that's something I can do. Um That's only the subscribers to the YouTube channel. There are a few more.
There's a
And
few
I'm
more.
not sure who that if that's Ryan or one of the folks there at Skinwalker Ranch, but, yeah, that's really, neat to see that. But if I could, and I hope, and I know we got a bit of a delay, but I did wanna show a little bit more about it if I may. Um, but I like I said, I wanna make sure I get permission, before I do that. But, oh, they said go ahead. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah, so and again, I don't I like to abide by the rules. Oh, thank you. Yeah, there they go. Let's go for it. Um, and here's some of the stuff here. And again, there's the live stream. Watch how you click on that. Now, there's two ways you can do this. And this was and I didn't find this out right away. And again, it's one of those newbie things, and I'm still learning. But I clicked on this and I'm watching it. It's great. And I'm watching these live stream. You can hear it too, especially if you put your headphones
Mhm.
on. You can hear all the, as Shannon was saying, all the background sounds. But I was watching it here. But there's so much chat going on down below, that when you're watching the live stream and you can't see the chat and this at the same time. I kept scrolling down to see the chat, going back up, going back down. I didn't know that if you click over on the side, it says YouTube, and you can go to the YouTube. It's an unlisted channel. You can't get there unless you are go through this means to get there. But you can click on it, it takes you to YouTube. Now you get to watch it like watching a live like this show right now. You get to see the screen, and on the side is all the chat. So you get to do both at the same time. And it took me like a month to realize you could do that.
Or if you're an addict to the live stream, like some of us are, you'll have it up on multiple devices. So I have, and I'm not the only one, I know for a fact, a lot of people that are in here right now do it too, or we've got it up on a big TV, and then we've got the chat on our phone or on our tablet. Or I know that people will do the video on one thing, they'll have their chat on one thing, and then they'll be tracking the air traffic in the area, or like the
Yeah, you
satellite
I
and
know.
stuff.
I
It's
saw the
really
guys doing
cool.
that.
It's
Yeah,
really,
they're
really cool.
tracking the air traffic and everything going on, and the
Yeah.
Starlink satellites and stuff.
I know,
Uh,
it's awesome. It's so
it is.
neat to have.
It is.
And it's another thing is that there's so many different people that come in here with different backgrounds and things that are,
Yes,
it's
yes.
like we've really fleshed out this group of like some people are former military and they have like really good like they have a different perspective on it, and then we've got tech people and just like all different walks of life, and it's really, I think, essential to making it a special collaboration among
It truly
people
is.
kind of interpreting data. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's some of the things
So
that you get to go back and watch. Here's Caleb, um, the Murph Challenge, talking about the 2022 Murph Challenge Q&A that's coming up. That's on July 30th at 2 p.m. And this is the stuff we get. And you get the UFO, the Utah UFO Display Insider. There's Brandon out there with Dr. Salisbury. And this is part of the Q&A. This was the Q&A they did, the live stream. And there's the guy sitting around the table eating chips and salsa and just interacting with us. And you get to see, they're so cool. Oh, look at there. Guess what that is? Oh, is that
Lucy.
Lucy? that
That's
that
Lucy
was
the orb.
That's Lucy the Orb.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it was awesome. And you can go back and watch it anytime. And I was showing this one on my show last night. We were talking about this particular one right here, which was awesome
Hmm.
in itself, that Eric spotted. But also
And I
this one.
think that's right outside of the where that one was
Yes,
spotted.
it
It like
is. So
it's
it's Lucy.
literally Lucy's inside the homestead. Yeah, there's Lucy hanging out outside.
Yeah. And it was like a person was walking around looking for something and checking things out.
Yes.
And the one that was
It came out
inside,
to the camera.
yeah, the one that
Yes,
was
that
inside, it
one.
went right up to and looked at the camera for a moment. Well, I say looked at, but was right in front of the camera for a few seconds and
It
then went off.
certainly felt like it was looking at the camera.
It
It was like,
did.
I
It
know that you
did.
guys are watching me.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were
Who's
like,
watching
yes,
me?
we
What is this
are.
thing? Yep, we're all watching you. It was really cool. And the voices of Skinwalker. I mean, the page is just packed with so much stuff. Here's another person that does another insider does a
Christina.
talk show
Yeah.
host. Yep, Christina. I mean, all kinds of great stuff. You can see down here. You got the Insider Command Center, the webcams, the Q&A, the photo journal, the Insider, and it's also the information about the history and all, like I showed you before, the strategic partners and all the kind of stuff. I mean, the shop. You
And
got
it's
all
just
kinds.
growing.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
kinds
it's
of
just
swag in
constantly
here and
growing.
merch that you can get. And again, this is all goes to preserving the homesteads on the ranch. It's really there's a lot to do and a lot of fun, and it is building a collective community. I love that, the
It's
collective.
building a collective. The
But
collective. That's what our shirts need to say
yes,
now. The
yes, they do.
collective.
Eric, you got to get on that. Get the collective going. The
They-
collective t-shirts.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
But it is truly a very, very cool thing that we all get to participate in, and it's been fun, and knowing that there are people like yourself. Now, who's another moderator? There's yourself, and is
And
uh,
Mike
Mike?
is, I think Mike was in here earlier.
Yeah, he might still be here.
He moderates on FaceTime, not FaceTime, on Facebook and on YouTube. And then we've got two other people in Facebook, which is Heather and, oh man, somebody help me out here. Why can't I remember? There's so
Oh,
many
somebody
names.
will
I
jump
feel
in and
really
say
bad
something.
because I can see her face in my head from her picture. Oh, there's Mike. He says hello.
Yep. Yeah. Mike, who's the other one
So
on the Facebook group?
Becky, it's Becky.
Okay,
It's Becky
Becky.
Heatherson.
Oh, okay. Yep. There's jumping in. There's
Yeah.
Heather saying
Thank
Becky.
you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, yes.
So
And they're
anyway,
just wonderful as well. Like they're just great people. They're so wonderful.
all right. So before we wrap things up here tonight, folks, I want to give you an opportunity to throw out some questions. If you're a member, that's fine. If you're not a member and you want to know more about it, jump in and ask questions if you'd like. We have a little Q&A of our own going on right now. If we can answer it, we will. If not, or Shannon, she knows so much more about all of this than I do. I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning new things all the time about what we can do and what we can record and all of that. So I still ask a lot of questions, but again, like I said, everybody is so friendly out there. They share with us so much great stuff. I've tried my best to keep track of some of the questions, and then Linda's popped in and shown me, hey, don't forget about so-and-so's good question there. But if you have a question, if you'd like to ask of myself or Shannon, here's one here. Does Blind Frog Ranch have a connection to Skinwalker Ranch? I don't know the answer to that. I know they're close.
I think that I think that they're essentially neighbors. I don't know anything about Blind Frog Ranch. It doesn't, I mean, it would make sense because it's in the same area that they might have a connection in terms of like spatial relationships with what's happening in the sky, perhaps. But I don't believe that Skinwalker Ranch has anything to do with Blind Frog
just
Ranch.
neighbors.
No.
Yeah. Well, and it's
Just
something
neighbors,
that Thomas and I and Eric talked about when they were on the show was the fact that even though we say that the experiences and the things that are happening at Skinwalker Ranch are not confined to the fences of the ranch,
right?
that is true, but yet a lot of stuff does happen on the ranch exclusively. So,
Right.
it does happen in the area. It's a lot of stuff that when you see a UFO sighting, everybody's going to see it in the entire area. We've seen that also on the show after they were broadcasting on the Jack FM radio station. And then later on that night, all the UAPs appeared. So
Right.
it's not confined to the ranch, but yet a lot of crazy stuff does happen on the ranch. Here's one from Brenda. Has anybody tried to talk to Lucy?
Well, I mean, I feel like B. Jones would say that they do during their focus groups to some extent.
I
So
was
we have,
involved in one of those.
yes, so there's different focus groups, which is basically people that are, I don't want to say, it sort of varies dependent upon kind of who's leading the focus group, but it's having sort of focus time as a collective on a specific camera and saying like, please show us something peacefully, or it really depends on kind of whose statement is being used. But yes, that I think it's, I don't know if it says if they've said talk to us, but I think it's more like, please show up again. We would really like to see you. Let's bring Lucy back. Lucy sings and hums to us is what somebody said. So yes, I mean, to a degree, they brought in any mediums to the ranch. That question has been asked a lot. I can't say that with any definitive certainty. If they have and they've filmed it, they haven't shown it yet. And outside of that question we've asked repeatedly and we haven't gotten a direct answer on it, which generally means I can't talk about that. So, and that's another thing to know, that like, if they can answer your question, they're going to, because I think a lot of people would really like to see mediums brought onto the ranch.
Yeah. Yep.
Lucy might show herself. Yeah, they planned focus groups every day. I think it's every day. I'll save that for the Q&A this Saturday.
What's a couple of larges? What did I miss? Is that something is that talking about the size of shirt or something? I'm not sure what Granny Mac is referring to there.
I don't know either.
Oh, somebody said save that for Q&A this Saturday. Yep.
The medium question, I think, is what he's referring to. So yeah, save that.
And John is an insider now. I think he signed up. I think he's all signed up now. So he's new in there, and And I talked
Good.
him right into it. He loves the paranormal as well, and of course he helps he recaps the shows with me. I don't know what took. Well, he's got a lot on his plate right now, but I think that's why he didn't get around to doing it. But now he's a member now, so yeah, he's going to be involved in this.
Uh,
So let's see.
Travis mentioned during the last Q&A that for those that were going to Phenomicon in September, that they're going to do a special meet and greet with the insiders at it,
Nice.
which is
Okay.
not on the schedule. I hope that was okay to say, because that is what he did say in our Q&A. So
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. That's I've got I've been traveling around and taking the show on the road and stuff like that. And so I'm going to be out there. I talked to Thomas about it and I did apply for a press pass because I do
oh,
talk
nice.
about Phenomicon quite a bit. Yeah, I do. And I can't wait to go, quite honestly. I'm really looking forward to it. And that is going to be September 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And it's in Vernal, Utah, and it's going to be great. I think there's going to be all the guys are going to be there from Skinwalker Ranch. I think
Yeah.
Blind Frog Ranch people are going to be there. And I don't know. There's a list. If you go out to just go onto Google and Google Phenomicon Vernal, Utah, Vernal, Utah, and it'll pop up. You can see all about it and get tickets and all that kind of stuff for it. It's a 4-day event that's going on. Yeah, Richard said, I wish I could go to that. I tell you, yeah,
I
I
know,
can't
me
wait.
too.
I'm really you're not gonna be there?
No, I'm
Oh,
not going to be there.
that would have been
I,
cool to
uh,
meet you.
I, I'm, it would be really close. We're going out of town, like the 12th. So it would be really, really close. Maybe, but
Oh,
I
you
don't
can come
think
by
so.
for one day.
I don't know if I'll make it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe.
fun.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Are you going to podcast every show? If you're talking about the TV show, yes, I do. I actually did. I talked about all the episodes. I did all of them last season, and then I did all of them this season. I kind of combined them together just for time's sake because we had some other shows going on. But I did last night. I did the final 2 episodes last night. I was hoping that Eric and Thomas could join me again, but they're really busy guys right now. They got a lot going on out at the
Yeah.
ranch and in their own personal lives, so they could not make it last night. But they will come back on. Eric was having such a good time. He couldn't stay because he had another meeting he had to attend, but he did sit around for about a half an hour with us, and it was just he loved the questions that we were giving him, and he was just eating it up. And John and I had a great time with the guys. But yeah, we will have them back on. We're hoping to get Bryant on and talk with them some more about this. But again, right now they're super busy because well, they're just busy. We'll leave it at that. So, but we'll get them on as soon as we can and talk about. I would like to be able to talk about the entire season of what they've done, and it's been fantastic. I think their findings this season were awesome. Well, I guess last season 3, were awesome. They did cover an awful lot of stuff. So, yeah, oh yeah, that's what this was about. It was B Jones. It was you and I talked quite a bit on there, and I really appreciate the help you've given me. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I was like I said, one day I was in there watching, lurking, and I thought, man, it would be so cool to have somebody come on, and I want to do this again. So Shannon, you got to help me. You got to when we get back out there and talking to everybody, you got to Granny Mac. I mean, you got to come on.
I will convince her.
Yeah, come on with Shannon on the next one or something. But yeah, I want to highlight different insiders, different times, maybe one a month or something like that, and have you guys come on, maybe in pairs or something, because I think it's fun to talk about, and we're going to have a lot of new stuff coming up in the future that we'd like to highlight and the more the people that come, the better. I mean, it's growing. It's
Yeah.
really growing, and we're getting more eyes on the screens looking for anomalies. I can't watch 24/7. Heck, I can hardly give it an hour and a half a day at best, with everything I got going on. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
feel like I step out to go shower and I end up
you
on
come
a
back to your
podcast.
voice.
And I'm on a podcast now. But I feel like it's like I cannot imagine, well, I can't imagine how Eric doesn't get any sleep, because this is how
Oh,
we are from afar watching the cameras and he's there. Um, which what a dream. I mean, also, I have to say, like, aside from the cool stuff that happens, it's really beautiful to be able to see the
it
sunrise and sunset through those camera views. We have a few artists, and we all just want to draw the ranch or paint the ranch, like the beautiful,
yeah.
and then we'll just insert our own UAP into it.
Yeah, it's so true though. It really is, because when I start work, of course, I'm in the Eastern time zone, and of course they're in Mountain. I think they're in
Mountain
Mountain
time.
there.
Yeah,
So
I
it's like
think they're
2 hour
mountain time.
difference. So when I get logged in the morning, and I was like, working on a spreadsheet the other day for work, and I had it on, but it wasn't on my screen. It was in one of my background screens. And I'm over here working away, doing some stuff on a spreadsheet, and I'm hearing something, and I'm thinking, I'm taking my headphones off and I'm listening going, "Oh," and I put the headphones back on. I'm like, "Oh, I'm hearing it it's coming from the ranch." And
That
it
has
actually
happened to me
was
so many times.
yeah. And
Yeah, so many times.
it might have been an animal, or, working in the area, doing something in the area, or it might have been an airplane flying over or something like that, or one of the side by sides on the ranch cruising down the road. There goes Eric, or one
Mhm.
of the guys cruising by, or Thomas or something, but it's so cool that happens. And I completely forgot you were just listening to nature. And then you pop over there in the morning, my son's up, I'm already working. Or I should say, the sun is up here already where I'm at, and I'm over here working. And I pop over to
Mhm.
there, and the sun is just coming up. And then the cameras switch from night vision to day vision, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, regular vision, I guess. And the sun is coming up, on the mesa there, and it truly is. It's just beautiful, and it's just peaceful to watch.
It really is. And another thing which I think is really cool about our group talking about the cameras and us people in America, depending where they are, we go to sleep. So like I'm going to sleep at midnight. It's still, or whatever, it's 9 p.m. in California where some people are. But it is so neat that we've got people from everywhere. So we've got like
Yes.
people that are in Australia and the UK, that their time difference is such that, they're essentially on night shift, which is really neat because we've got this group of people that are on the other side from us, and they're able to watch the camera feeds overnight and feel, and like sort of like ships passing in the night where I
Yes,
get
it
the
is. Yep.
opportunity to talk to them. But we do have an interesting like it's almost an unofficial like crew change, like of like, oh, we've got our overnight
Shift
coming
change.
in,
Yep.
it's time for me to head out. Yeah, yeah, we've got some people from Australia in here now. Can't we just have people from everywhere? It's really really neat.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's what's so cool. So, okay. Richard, you're okay. You're on record now. You're public. Everybody has seen this around the world that's watching or will watch this show, that you said you would be interested in coming on. So we're gonna nail you down on that. So we're gonna have you come on. So to talk about it at one point, we'll reach out to you, reach out to us, and then and again, if you want to reach out to me, my email address is jfree906 at gmail.com. Can't get any easier than that. jfree906 at gmail.com. Reach out to me if you want, and we'll get you on the show. And just we'll talk up, Skinwalker Ranch, being an insider, and all the cool things about it. And the new finds that we have. So let me see. Was there any more questions? Yeah. Oh my goodness. The chat has gone by so fast here. Uh,
I will say that I'm interested to see, because I mean, Travis is back there now. I do believe that they're filming, or
yeah.
I'm almost certain that they're filming or might be filming soon. I think all of us are really interested to see if we get more activity on the camera views, even though they're not showing us what they're filming, because we do know that when stuff is being done on the ranch, you tend to get more activity. I
Yep.
think if people are thinking about joining the insiders, now is a great time to do it. And also, it's, again, I think about the fact, I know, I understand that $10 is a lot for people, but like if it's something that you care about even a little bit, I think it's worth it if you think about being able to ask questions of the guys
Yep.
and catch things yourself on their
That's
cameras.
Yeah, I can't wait till I see something that's not Thomas walking with a flashlight or a sun flare or something like that. I
You
can't wait for
will. You will.
that. But I keep watching
You
because,
will.
and it's just gonna take that one moment when you happen to be watching, and there it is. There's that thing, that nobody can
And
explain.
exactly, and you'll say it, and what will happen is people will go, "What's the timestamp?" And then, "What's the camera?" And you'll have this whole group of people that'll be looking with you to be like, oh my gosh, look at this thing that you found."
Mhm.
And that's really cool to share in that experience as well, as being like everybody is going back and watching this thing.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
that's the thing
very,
when you're
very
watching it,
neat.
you have to watch the timestamp, like Shannon just said. You gotta
Mhm.
because every camera, well, they're all at the same time. All 4 of they're synchronized obviously on the time, but so you got the timestamp and which camera it was because 'cause they're like Homestead 2, I think, is HS2, and then they got the different
Yeah.
numbers for the different cameras. So you gotta be watching it. When you see something, look down and see what the timestamp is and record it.
And sometimes the what you're seeing too is we've been recording like rhythmic time glitches, which
Mhm.
has been really fascinating because you can understand there being a certain camera issue or what have you, but we started logging these like every 3 hours the clock was changing over to 222 at the end, and then staying for almost the exact same amount of time. It varied by like a second, but it was like literally every 3 hours, and it would change over at the exact same time. And that's been really interesting to watch as well. So sometimes what you're catching is the anomalies of seeing equipment act weird, which is what they've talked about as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And like you mentioned earlier too, that now that things are, when the experiments are gonna start happening again, that is when activity starts to happen. You guys have seen this before when Travis talks about kicking the hornet's nest, poking the hornet's nest and making something happen, it does. And they start because now, like you said, now is a good time to become a member if you wanna really start watching because this is
Hmm.
when not that things haven't been already happening, which they have, but now when they start kicking the hornet's nest and firing rockets and all this kind of stuff again, it the activity is gonna pick up. It really is, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait to keep watching. I wish I could spend more time watching, I really do. I just can't. I got so
I
much going
know.
on. But, all right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, folks. I tell you what, it's been fantastic, Shannon, having you on the show. It's been my honor to meet you, and my honor
Oh,
to
thank you.
have you come on the show here tonight. You were fantastic. You do so much for the website and for the YouTube channel and for the Facebook page. I don't know where you find the time for it all, but I tell you what, you are appreciated by everyone so much that all that you do, it's an absolute. They would have been crazy not to try to bring you on board to help because you just have that right personality and you have the talent and thank you so much for what you do as an insider and also for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say thank you to all the people that have made what I'm doing really easy because they're very wonderful and
Yeah, they
helpful.
truly are.
So,
Yep. So, folks, if you're out there on the YouTube side, please click on that subscribe button for us. And if you want to know when we have new content coming out, because sometimes I just jump on when I have new news, click on the notification bell. You'll get notified right away when we go live and catch what's happening. And if you like the content of our show, give us a thumbs up. It really does help our algorithm with YouTube when we get the thumbs up. If you like the show, and it kind of helps to get it out there in the YouTube world. So if you like the content, give it a thumbs up. I guess if you didn't like the show tonight, you could give it a thumbs down, but we do appreciate that very, very much. And if you ever wanted to help promote or help the show out, we do have a Patreon channel. It is patreon.com and it's jfree906 there as well. Again, thank you so much, Shannon, for being on the show. Hang around just for a
thank
second
you.
as I go off here. And folks, thank you for being here tonight. Those of you that are insiders, thank you for coming on. And I know you probably helped Shannon feel more comfortable here tonight. But you guys are a wonderful group. I can't wait to get back and watch some of the feed with you again. And we'll see you all again right here on the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream and J Free 906. Good night, everybody, and have a great rest of your week.